Target family, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is all about Dollar Tree planters. You have to let me know your favorite DIY down in the comments. Mine's the first one and the one with baking soda. You'll see. If you like the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe if you like content like this. Now let's head right into Dollar Tree.
So today we're at Dollar Tree and we're going to be doing a bunch of DIYs using the Dollar Tree planters. And at Dollar Tree they are $1.25, which is a great price for planters.
I'm going to be using 4 big planters for this project, and I'm going to make markings on opposite sides of each planter. Now we're taking a screwdriver and we're pushing it through the planters where I made these markings. You might have to work the screwdriver in a little bit. If you're struggling, maybe take a nail, but be very careful if you're going to be using anything that's pointy or sharp. I recommend using at least 2 or 4 planters for this project. We're using 4, so we did this in each planter. Now the key to this is weighing the bottom planter. So we are going to be using stones and filling it up with some stones we got from Dollar Tree, but you don't have to use those. You just need to use something that's going to weigh that down. Now I'm applying E6000 around the rim of my planter. You just want to use a heavy duty glue, whether that's E6000, Gorilla Glue, Super Glue, just something that is better than hot glue. Hot glue, it's so easy to knock the planters off of each other if that's all you use. That's if you're attaching them by the rim. If you're attaching them where the bottom of the planters are, so both bottoms are touching each other, you can get away with hot glue, but I still would use a heavy duty glue. Now the reason we're using zip ties is because they do a way better job of keeping everything more secure than just glue alone. My first ever Dollar Tree table tutorial, you can find it all the way back in 2017. I've done so many throughout the years, and I find that zip ties work the best when attaching these pieces from Dollar Tree together. And sure, there are other things you can use, but I use Dollar Tree products, and I try to use as many Dollar Tree products as I can, so zip ties is what I found at Dollar Tree that works best. It's nice to have somebody on hand when you're doing this part so your hand doesn't keep touching the glue, but you just hold the planter above the other planter, feed the zip ties through the holes that you made, and then you zip tie 2 planters to each other. I made 2 sets of these, and once I have those sets done, I glue them together. I use my E6000 glue to attach them together. I don't recommend doing more than 4 planters, and you only want to put stones on the very bottom planter, the one that is touching the ground. Now I'm going to be using a Dollar Tree pizza pan on the top of this. So I add my E6000 glue and then attach the pizza pan on the top. There's nothing really at Dollar Tree that's big enough to be the tabletop for this. So if you want to go with something else, you sure enough can, but using Dollar Tree products, this is the biggest piece that you're going to find that works for a tabletop. You can spray paint your pizza pan if you like. Instead, I'm going to be using these charger placemats. I got this one from Hobby Lobby and then this one from Target. Dollar Tree carries some as well, but I really like the tones and the texture of these ones. And I just place that on top of the pizza pan. I don't recommend putting anything heavy on top of these. This is more so for some little decor pieces, some books, maybe your plate of food or a mug. This is not like, let me put my TV on top of this. No, it's just for very lightweight things, but it just makes a pretty little accent table, or you can use this outside on your patio if you like.
You can actually stack these together to make a bigger planter, so that's what we're going to do.
This is just an easy idea. You can buy multiple Dollar Tree planters and glue them together to get bigger planters. So I got these black planters from Dollar Tree and I just stacked 2 on top of each other, and now I got a bigger, more substantial piece. Stacking these on top of each other works really well when you're looking for different heights in your decor versus everything just being at one level. You can also stack Dollar Tree planters on top of each other to get that urn planter style. This one is kind of like that, but not entirely. So I'm using these 2 types of planters you see from Dollar Tree, and I am going to stack the more squared shaped ones at the bottom to each other, so I stack 3 on top of each other. I'm using hot glue for video purposes, but again, I recommend using a heavy duty glue. The ones that have a square bottom, I used 3 of those, stack those on top of each other, and then the larger, more round one from Dollar Tree I used at the top. Now I wanted to spray paint these all the same color, so I'm using this Rust-Oleum spray paint. This color is called Cinnamon, and I really like this color. The only thing is it does not remind me of cinnamon at all. It's more orange. Look how pretty these turned out. I put some topiaries inside of them and placed them on the side of my fireplace. If you use these outside, again, you want to weigh down the bottom. You don't want a gust of wind to come and then they just keep falling down on you. This is how it looks a little bit shorter, and then this is how it looks outside. This is so easy to do and inexpensive because planters elsewhere are a lot of money. Now let's do something with these galvanized hanging planters from Dollar Tree that I like a lot. I'll be using 2 of these metal brackets from Dollar Tree. They do come with screws, so I went ahead and I screwed these into my wall. I'm going to be putting a shelf on top of my brackets. I purchased this one at Menards for $4. You can use a piece of wood and stain it. I've done that in the past and I'll link it down below for you guys, that tutorial. Now what I did is I took my shelf, leveled it out, and then figure out where the next bracket will be placed. I mark it and then I screw that into the wall. That way I have a leveled shelf. Now where the front of the bracket is, you're going to push that in so that it closes that gap a little bit more. You'll want to slide a wooden dowel or even a toilet plunger handle from Dollar Tree through this. That's what you're going to use to hold the planters. And this is the reason why we closed the gap in the front of the metal bracket so that the rod doesn't slide out of there. The particular rod I use doesn't just slide through these planters easily. The hole is too small on the planter. So to hang them up instead, I just put some book rings from Dollar Tree through the top of the planter, and that's how I get the planters to hang off of the rod. So if you run into the same issue, just get the book rings from Dollar Tree. You're going to find them in the office section. I'm making this more of a decorative piece, so I filled my planters up with some greenery and then I just put whatever on top of my shelf, and now I have this gorgeous piece of decor that was really inexpensive to do. Reminds me of something I would buy at Kirkland's or even Hobby Lobby, but it cost me a lot less to make. I've done DIYs like this in the past before and they never disappoint. I absolutely love them.
Let's get these to make some stone looking and ceramic looking planters.
This hack is so fun. So you want to pick up some paint. Chalk paint works really well for this. I'm going to be using this gray color chalk paint, and you're also going to use some baking soda. You can use baking powder, but I find baking soda works better for this. Now you are going to do at least 50-50. So whatever amount of paint you use, you want to put the same amount of baking soda in or more baking soda. I like to do that as well. I just really like the look that the baking soda gets. So once you got it 50-50 in a bowl, you're going to mix it together till you get like a fluffy type of paste. Once you have the paint to your liking, you can go ahead and start painting your planter. I went with a gray planter. I just figured that if there was an area that I missed and didn't paint, it would just blend in. Now I do 2 layers of these. So I have my first layer, I wait for it to completely dry, and then I do my second layer. The footage you see right here is the second layer, and I added more baking powder to my paint this time around because I really just wanted that texture from the baking soda to be showing. This next step brings me back to when I used to body paint. I used to love doing this. So basically you just take some paint, you want to water it down a little with some water, and you're going to dip a toothbrush into the paint. And you're just going to flick your finger across the toothbrush. It's going to get messy, but basically you are splattering the paint onto your planter, and this is really going to give it this really cool texture and stone look. So I did this with some white paint, I did it with some black paint. While you're doing this, if there is a spot where the paint was just a little too much or you didn't like the way it looked, go in with a wet paper towel right away so that you can fix your mistake. So you can see here, that's what I'm doing. I had some spots where the paint went on too much. I went in with a wet paper towel right away and it fixed the problem. If you're struggling with getting the paint to splatter, add a little bit more water. So you can see I'm dipping the paint into the water, getting it real watery, and then I flick that around. You can see just how much comes off of the toothbrush this way. Look how cool this came out. You just get a cheap planter, some paint, and baking soda, and you can really make it look high end. We're gonna make this look even better. So the way I ended up decorating this, or the greenery that I used, I'm gonna share with you guys that because it ends up looking like something you bought for a whole lot of money. So what you want to do is you want to get some styrofoam and you're going to cut that down to fit the inside of your planter. Once you have them cut to fit the inside of the planter, you're going to go ahead and hot glue those pieces down to your planter. Now the greenery I'm using, I've been so into olive branches lately, so these branches I got from Hobby Lobby for $4, and I go ahead and push those into my planter. Then I'm going to fill the bottom of this up with some stones that I got from Dollar Tree and then some black gravel. The gravel is actually from Walmart and you find it in the like fish section and it's $4. I put that inside of there because I didn't have enough stones. Before I do the reveal for this one, which let me tell you, it looks like something I bought at Target for like 30 bucks because that's what something like this cost at Target. I ended up doing the ceramic ones. So these ones, you don't do the splatter look, you just do some baking soda and paint. That's it. So I ended up painting this one a terracotta color, the paint I got at Hobby Lobby. And then the other ones you're going to see, I used the same technique and I didn't do the splatter look. Inside of some of the planters I made, I did the same thing where I took some styrofoam, glue it to the bottom, add my olive branches, and then the gravel on top of that. Look how gorgeous these turned out. These are my favorite DIYs in this video. I absolutely love the way they look. I ended up switching out my decor early. I actually had like Easter back there, but I changed it out as soon as I made these planters because I was so excited about them. Look at the texture. It looks so much more high-end this way.
We're gonna get one of these to do a hack using the planters that look galvanized from Dollar Tree.
This is another DIY I've done over the years, but differently. So basically you're gonna get the really pretty oval type of shape galvanized planter from Dollar Tree and glue some styrofoam to the bottom of it. Now I'm going to be using this trellis that I also got from Dollar Tree and I'm going to push it through the styrofoam. I do have to bend the bottom of it a little bit so that it fits perfectly inside of my styrofoam. I do put some hot glue where the trellis and the styrofoam meet to really just secure it into place. Now to fill up that bottom, I'm actually just using this greenery I got at Target. It's in the Bullseye Playground and it's $3. I cut it down to fit the inside of my planter. It's really inexpensive and you can see I still have more left over. Now I got these potted plants from Dollar Tree. How pretty are these? I'm actually going to zip tie them to the trellis. So I put the zip tie around the base of my plant and then wrap the zip tie around the trellis and then tie it into place. Do it tight so that the potted plants don't go anywhere on you. You can try hot gluing these, but good luck with that. I feel like it'd be very hard to hot glue these. So get yourself some zip ties. Zip ties always come in handy. You have this beautiful piece that is perfect for spring. I've done this before in the past for Easter. Same type of concept, but not exactly the same. As you can see, they're both easy to do and really, really pretty. And there's, so many different things you can do with this. This is such an easy hack, honestly it is. If you want to jazz up your planters, you can get wall art stickers from Dollar Tree. I got these really pretty gold ones from Dollar Tree and I placed them on my planter. I recommend using some glue because the adhesive on these aren't necessarily the best for putting on planters, so use some glue to keep them in place. But you can see right here, I took it up a notch just by using some wall stickers from Dollar Tree. This is another cool hack. Just be aware, it involves vinegar, so if you hate the smell of vinegar, you don't want to do this. So you get one of the galvanized planters from Dollar Tree and vinegar. You're also going to get a big container to put this inside of. I actually got this one from Dollar Tree, and you're going to want to use a towel for this. The towel I also got from Dollar Tree. So you're going to pour your vinegar inside of the container, and I really went ahead and soaked up the towel as well. And the reason you're going to soak up this towel is because you are going to wrap this towel around the planter. Now what this is going to do is it's going to start rusting up the planter, and that's what the goal is for this look. If you don't like the rust look, you don't have to do this, but if you like that old look, this is really, really cool. So you let it just sit inside of the vinegar, and you can see it didn't take long for this to start to discolor my galvanized planter. Since I didn't fill my entire container up with the vinegar, you can see one side got more rusted than the other side. So this is the side that wasn't directly inside of the vinegar, and the other side was directly in the vinegar, and you can see it's more rusted. I had these decorative knobs from Hobby Lobby. I twisted a piece off of them and I actually glued them on the bottom of the planter because I was trying to mimic something that I actually saw at Hobby Lobby. So I just glued them to the very bottom of the planter, fill it up with some greenery, and there you have it, some rusted galvanized metal planters from Dollar Tree. It's a really easy hack, but be aware, your house will smell like vinegar if you do it inside of the house. So if you don't want that smell, go outside and let this air out after you dip it in vinegar.
So that's it for these Dollar Tree DIYs and hacks. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.